Welcome to the next session of Dr. Plotzker's Mind. In about 5 weeks, I will be heading off to the wild blue yonder for, I guess, my first truly recreational vacation in about a year. I had driven to Kentucky with my new car to visit Mammoth Cave about a year ago. I enjoyed the trip, but it was a lot of driving. Since I knew nobody there, I did not have to arrange for visiting. This time I'm handling it a little bit differently. My original intent was to visit my father's gravesite with discount airfare if I'm willing to just take an overnight backpack. I could have flown there for a song, taken an Uber to the cemetery, then another Uber from the cemetery to the hotel, and stayed overnight, then back on the discount airline the next day. It's doable, and I got as far as wanting to do it until I went to make the reservations, where I learned that you really have to act fast or there won't be super low fares. As an alternative, after some discussion with my wife, we've not had a real recreational vacation where somebody else does the long distance driving in a long time, so maybe it was time to do that. As a result, we arranged for a standard airline at an acceptable price. Our dates were manipulated slightly by the best fare. Once settled, we waited a few weeks, arranged for a hotel. My first inclination was cheap. My second inclination was willingness to spend a little bit more for a place that got good reviews by other people who had stayed there more than a day or so. So that settled. You really need a car to get around Florida and do the things that people do in Florida, whether it be to go to the Everglades, or to go to restaurants, or to go to Shabbos services at synagogues that are probably more appealing than mine. I needed a car. It turns out that the AARP, where my membership was about to lapse, got its renewal. And looking at cars, I was able to get a small SUV at an acceptable price. So now I'm ready to go. Just waiting for the calendar to tick down a little bit. I would like to get a new carry-on suitcase, since you are only permitted a carry-on with a check bag requiring an exorbitant fee each way. I think I can get everything I need into a carry-on. These have been greatly improved since I last got one. The current one that I have has broken wheels and is of the type that you have to lean in order to roll it, since it has two fixed roller skate type wheels. The newer models come both in plastic and in sturdier cloth than the one I have, though the one I have has lasted quite a while with only the wheels breaking. I can't decide whether cloth or plastic, but I'm leaning toward plastic. The wheels are very different. They now rotate 360 degrees. You can keep the suitcase upright. while you wheel it along. It fits in the overhead bin and comes in all sorts of styles where I can choose one where mine does not look like everybody else's, unlike the current black canvas one that I have now. I went shopping for them online and in person. There are too many choices. If you have too many choices, you're never satisfied with the one that you make. But I will make a choice and then pretty much be ready to go. It's been a long time since I've dedicated a week for my recreation. When I went to Kentucky about a year ago, it was to see Mammoth Cave, which required uh, more time driving back and forth than being there. I've made a few other minor overnight trips with a couple of nights at a hotel, but this is the first extended one that I've had where the agenda is my recreation. Uh, Other recent travels have been to visit my kids, sometimes by plane, sometimes by car, with stays of about 4 to 7 days, and a little bit of minor recreation thrown in, but the intent was visiting. This time the intent is first to see my father's gravesite, which I've not seen in 13 years, to complete my intention of seeing all the family sites the second half of this calendar year, and also to be in a place that's warm when my home is cold. This seems like the time to go and the place to go to. Thanks very much for joining me. I look forward to having uh, people assemble for the next edition of Dr. Plotzker's Mind.